videos where you have an officer basically around. They don't have ID, they can't get into a hotel room. To get them the help they need, especially if someone even gets arrested. A lot of people don't know how the justice system works.
But I want someone to actually know them and know that it's legit. 30 years. I started out as an investor first.
I would, in general, be wary of the storefront psychic.
Have more powers.
Thank you so much for having me.
So hi everyone, welcome to The Problem Solver. My name is Maria and I'm hosting today. And here I have my co-host Raf Adami. If you could please tell everybody what you do.
Well, currently I'm acting. I've been acting for about the last 5 or 6 years. Brand ambassador, pretty much a jack of all trades. So
All right, great.
I'm glad to be here.
Great, thank you. And here we have our guest, Tawny. Tawny, we would love to hear, what do you do?
So by day, I'm a commercial real estate investor. I focus on multifamily, and I'm starting to host a podcast called Fit and Frugal.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we start with the investing side? What do you do? How do you do that? How can somebody come to you?
How do I do that? So I most likely, I spend most of my day crying and underwriting deals. We talk to a lot of brokers. I have a team. Our deals are in between 100 and 300 units. So we focus on mostly right now in Texas and Florida.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
what would be the steps to that if somebody was interested?
I think the most important thing is to get educated first, because when I started investing last year, I went straight into single family homes, and then I pivoted to Airbnb, which here in Vegas is not really a prominent place for it. I still have a couple rentals in California where I'm from, and then now that's why I pivoted again into multifamily.
What is exactly that you're trying to do? You're trying to help families with their finances in a holistic approach?
What I'm trying to do is build my real estate portfolio, but the investors that I'm trying to link up with, we want to actually solve more of the affordable housing crisis that's like right outside of the real estate market, is because I feel like there's a lot of plays on value adds lately. It's that everyone wants to go after like the Class Cs, all of the bridge loan debt that's like kind of falling apart, right? But as investors, we don't want to see other syndicators kind of fall apart in their deals. So we want to come in and make sure like we don't raise rent too much to where it's still affordable, and to make sure that we don't drive migration out of like certain cities and stuff like that, because people cannot afford the rent anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I've actually seen a little slight like movement in it. I've seen some come down, believe it or not, which was amazing.
Here in
to
Vegas?
see, yeah, for the rentals, because they've been pretty crazy.
Yeah, it has.
Definitely. So for multifamily, what, like if somebody was educated, wanted to get into that, what's the step like for them to start learning about getting into multifamily?
Yeah, like figure out why you want to invest in the first place. Figure out what your strategy is and what your portfolio looks like. If you want to be active, you actually want to do it like as a living, like as a job, and be a part of a team. It's more active as like a general partner. So there's different roles. There's investor relations, there's acquisitions, and there's broker relations and asset management side, which usually anything over 100 doors, you would rely on like a third party. So you don't want to do that yourself, because that's like a lot to manage.
Right.
If you want to be active, less active, which is where I'm at, is like I just want to be passive in most deals. I just find really good operators and then just kind of put my money to work.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when you say for people to kind of take care of stuff, like property managers, when you have that many, is that what you try to do?
So how long have you been doing this?
Just last year.
So it's been about a little over a year and a half, something like that? And what were you doing before?
I was in hospitality for 10 years. I did private events and I bartended college. I taught for a year as an undergrad at Cal State Fullerton as well. So I almost went in that direction of life. And then I did a lot of other things like early in my 20s, I was in sales, marketing, just a bunch of different things.
So what made you decide to get into this?
Real estate's always been something that it was like that thing that I was always curious about, but I never had a chance to follow because I was always busy and burnt out with so many other things. And then once I realized, like, most of my 20s, I kind of spent doing really like soulless work, and I wasn't really like fulfilled in my life, and I didn't have time for like philanthropic work or just anything that really like, you know, like soothes my soul. It's just not anything I wanted to like, do anymore because I was just out of alignment with myself. So yeah.
So when you say philanthropic work, what philanthropy type opportunities? Is that, are you into that now? Or
Yeah.
like, for example?
We just came back with a group with Youth with a Mission, Homes of Hope. We just built 4 homes in Mexico, in Tijuana, for like
Very
families
cool.
in needs. Yeah, so a bunch of investors from all over the states. Like there's a couple from like different countries as well that we got together and we met up in San Diego. Like some of us drove from here. I flew there. Just we just get to San Diego. We spend a night there, and then we drive into Tijuana across the border together. And then, you know, we lodge, and then we just spend 2 days just leaving our egos behind. And like some have contractors background, some are GCs, some don't, but then they have a team that actually teaches you what to do and all that stuff, because I don't really have GC, you know, what's it called, like education, but I still did framing, I did roofing, like I learned how to do shingles. Like it's just like you kind of just put yourself, you know, like in service of others. So yeah.
That's really nice.
That
I
is
had an
awesome.
opportunity, but it was like I forget, it was going to be somewhere way far away, and people were scared at the time to go. I can't remember.
Where? Tell me where.
No,
Was
I
this
really
during that
can't remember.
pandemic?
No, it was just before that. But I was just like, oh, but I really wanted to do that. I didn't know we had something closer where we could still do that.
Yeah.
So that's really
I'd love to
cool.
have you guys come next
How
time.
would you?
I
How
would
would you
love
want to? How could you get involved in something like that if you really wanted to do something like? I mean, that sounds like a great opportunity.
Step 1, reach out to me.
Oh,
You're
We got
welcome.
that.
I'm already here.
We'll be doing that.
Yeah,
for sure.
that
No,
sounds-
I actually know how to do roofing. I used
Yeah.
to do that when I was back in California many years ago. I actually assisted in the California Conservation Corps, so I learned a lot of jobs, roofing being one of them. So yeah, so I could definitely do that. That's cool though.
Yeah,
That's
like
really neat.
everything is really eye-opening. It's not just like,
Were you scared when you were out there?
no, I wasn't scared because it felt really safe. Like the compound that we stayed at, like I learned, okay, like I go camping, right? So I was preparing myself. I'm like, I don't know what kind of situation am I going to be. Like I'm
Because you know
thinking like a
Mexico's got
cot.
some. They have issues right
Yeah,
now.
I'm
There's-
thinking like a
they-
cot on the floor, peeing and pooping in a bucket. So I was just like, okay, just brace yourself. Just I don't know where they're gonna take me. They're like, we're gonna be
that was
somewhere.
my
you know?
that was my issue. I was scared because of things were happening. I just can't remember honestly
Yeah.
where it was, but that's what scared me.
I was in Texas like last
Because-
month too. So when I was telling those investors that I was with, I was like, hey, I'm going to Mexico. They're like, did you not hear like what's happening? I'm like, dude, I'm like on the other side, like
Yeah, okay.
Baja. So you know,
See, that's
I'm going there
the-
for tacos. That's what I told them. I was like, but there's tacos. It's fine. Like it's gonna be
Tacos and
great.
tequila. No joking.
Yeah, but no, they're yeah. You do have to be careful. It doesn't matter where you go now in Mexico, but yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
How did you feel after you did that? Was that the first time you did something like that?
It was the first time because I actually have a lot more time now where I control what I do with my life. And I was sharing this with, he was on my podcast, like one of my first episodes that I now call like divine intervention. Because at that time I was sharing with him, I'm like, hey, like I'm lacking like purpose. Like I'm not really feeling like I'm mission driven in like my business and my life. And like I'm just missing, like there's this void inside me, you know? And he's like, what are you looking to do? And so for many years, I'm like, I don't know, like I want to help people. I just don't know how, right?
That's really awesome.
And he was just like, hey, like there's this trip or whatever. There's a missions trip. And I'm not really like heavily religious. And this is like a Christian's group. So that's what I'm saying. Like everyone puts their ego aside. It doesn't really matter what background you come from. My biggest takeaway is that like what I was sharing with them is that I now have like so much memories that money can't buy, right? Because to us, a couple $100 is nothing. Right. So we have been raising money and stuff like that, too. There's people that are scared to go. They'll donate to us. And then there's people that have time and have, you know, like what is it called? Like I call it just like what's that thing? Being intentional with how they want to spend their time, because that 48 hours really taught me like how abundant we are here. It's not because they have less, but it's because we have so much more than we realize. You know, even just like watching the families and like hugging the mom, like she's a single mom, the family that we raised for, and she has 2 sons, and we're building her this home that honestly, like it's smaller than like our 1 bedroom here. Like it's a 16 by 20. from
But
ground up.
to them, that's
them, that's
that's a
everything.
castle to them. Yes.
Exactly. So really opened my mind in terms of like I was raised by a single mom, also in a third world country, right? Like, and I got the opportunity to come here and make my life better. And now I'm just at a season in life to where like I'm capable of giving back, not just in monetary donations, but in terms of my time and like getting people together that are also on a mission to like help just provide for others through acts of service.
So have they? Are you going back to? Is this like a take place over time where it's going to take some time to get her house in order, or are you going back to?
No, we're done. I can show you after
Oh,
this.
cool.
Nice.
From ground up, there's a foundation slab,
Oh, that
and
is
literally
awesome.
in less than 48 hours, our first build day, we worked a full day.
So they're already living in it?
They're already living
That
in
is
it.
awesome.
We take them to Costco with the donations that
Oh,
we
see, that's nice.
That is so
like
cool.
they'll raise
That's really
individually from our group. Like we'll donate extra money. We'll take them to Costco, fill up their house. We surprise them with furnitures. So we'll take them shopping for their foods, right? And then
Oh,
in the
and then
meantime, we
everybody
don't tell them
furniture
that we
everything?
were building the beds and like the stove and all of that stuff. So coming home, like everyone's crying. I was ugly crying like all weekend. I cried in front of like all these strangers is because like you're just so like overwhelmed. Like it's just joy and love. And there's just so much.
What you did for
Yeah.
that family is amazing. During that time, too, I would think while you're there, like you mentioned, how you say how it's abundance for us here. I would say that it reminds us too that we don't need so much, and you're okay to live with just the basics. Like you're okay with that. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think people always think they gotta have more because that's what society's kind of like pushed on us. You know what I mean? Like, or you have to have the latest this or that. But really, I think that's what's great. You could just
They're
just
always
have the
chasing.
basics and go do these kind of things or go venture, go, you know what I mean, explore.
Yeah.
But that's really, oh my God, that's really cool. But yeah, definitely we would love to see the pictures.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. I mean, how big is the family? Does she have? I mean, is this family? Do they have kids? And
So she's a single mom. Her oldest son is 23, and then the second one's like 11.
Wow, that's
And on the
awesome.
second day, when they went shopping, like their extended family would come by, the cousins and like the uncle and stuff, and they'll cook us meals like every single day. And it's just something like really simple every day. And it's just like that's all they have to give us, right? And then they got together and like during this key ceremony, we'll like share a word of wisdom with them. And everyone's just bawling their eyes out because it's just there's just so much like gratitude, right? Because you don't really realize like that feeling of home for us is it's always chasing something, validation, you know,
so
external
you're
things.
looking to
Yeah.
do more.
I'm looking to do more. Our next trip is actually October 26th to the 29th.
I would, if it's something where more people can come, let me know.
Yes,
Of course.
absolutely.
Definitely.
And how do you find these people that are in need?
How do I find them? So Rob Russell, he's actually the author of Addicted to Life. This is his first trip that he put together with the team, and then they collaborated with Youth with a Mission.
Oh, wow.
Which is like a missionary, because all of the people there are missionaries too, and that's what they do.
And so they just gave you a family, and you took it from there.
Yeah, so I guess
Wow.
what I'm hearing, I don't want to like get it right or whatever, but I think it's they apply, right? Watching some of the videos, how I interpreted the process is just like there's families and they'll write them a letter or they apply and then they have to wait for months and months to see if they get
gotcha.
accepted. Yeah, so our 4 teams, like we went to different parts too. So we happened to get the one that was closest to the compound that was kind of like not too much into, you know, the muddy areas, but I heard from the other teams that they went like an hour away, like into the mountains, into the mud, because it just rains. So you never really know which family you're going to get. You just kind of like selected randomly.
So you had multiple houses being built?
Yeah,
at
we
that
built
time?
4 of them, 60 of us.
Oh wow!
Oh, see, I thought
So
at
each
first
team
too,
was
right?
like
I thought it was just a
15.
group, just with that you were in a group and you guys
Yeah.
just all did it within 2 days. So there was other. That's
So we did 4
really
homes, 4
cool.
different groups, like 15 of us each
Yeah.
group. Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that is really nice. So do you get to meet at the end all the families? Like, does everybody?
We
No,
just
so
kind of
each
stay
kind of
close
group
to our
does it.
family.
Okay,
Oh,
gotcha.
okay.
Yeah, and then we come together and we just kind of share our experiences because each person, like, they get like a different family, you know. So that's why I was like coming home. I was like coming off of this like high,
That's
right?
beautiful. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's really nice.
That is really
I
cool.
really like that.
I'd love to have like everyone come just to experience it.
I'm telling you now, yes, I would love to.
Like
do
I didn't
that.
think I was that handy. Like I do stuff around the house.
Yeah.
But when I got there, I was on the roof. I'm like, damn, like I'm getting like I'm earning my man badge. You know, I'm getting like hair on my chest. I'm like sunburned because I'm like hammering all day, and like I couldn't feel my arms for 2 days. You know, and I'm just carrying like plywood. It's just like it's such a good feeling. Like,
Yeah.
I can't describe it.
Yeah, because you know you're there to help somebody else. So I think you're just ready to go.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is when you do that and you start helping other people out, other doors start opening up into your life. Have you seen that happen to you, or?
I have. I think the minute
Yeah.
I was sharing with Rob like what I was kind of missing in my life, more opportunities came to me in terms of like actual friendship, is because the conversations I was having there honestly was more authentic than like any of the friendships I've had in the last like decade of my life, right? It's because of those I would say they're more superficial. Like the field that I come from is hospitality. It's a lot of, fakeness, fake nice.
A lot of fluff.
Fake nice, I guess that's what
yeah.
you call it.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
kind of
Get stuck in that mode.
we do get stuck in that, and it's always like the PR, like saying the right things or whatever, but everyone there is, no one really cares about what you do or what your net worth is or whatever. We're there to like connect, like really connect, and like be vulnerable and just share like our emotional journey, because we're there to spiritually evolve together while helping others, and we're not there to like, hey, my business did this, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We did
no,
talk
it's-
like
it's
some
because
business,
it isn't
but
about you. It's about them.
It's
what
not
you're
about
doing
us.
right,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful thing, and that's good. God, I really like.
I think that, I don't know what you guys think, but I've noticed that after the pandemic, that America has kind of like just got this different attitude about how to go forward with the rest of their lives. I mean, there's
I think you have scared. You still have people that were so scared. You have people that actually lost loved ones that were close to them. So that, messed up some people.
Yes.
Because it just felt so unexpected. And then you have some people that unfortunately got really lazy. And then you have people that really thought outside the box and are just killing it when it comes to like being an owner now, whether it's a small business, whatever. Like they're doing it. So I think you got a lot of everything.
Yeah.
I think you just see a lot.
What I meant to
A lot of
say
change.
is that it's just, I just feel like there's just so much more opportunities that are going on after the pandemic. It's like this array of just all sorts of stuff that you can get involved with, and things like this where it's more a real thing, I don't know, maybe.
I think
Am I the only one that thinks this?
Like, it's a real thing. No, I
Yeah.
I do get what you're saying. There's just been a lot of there's a lot of change. It wasn't your typical like everybody just was going to their 9 to 5. Like we, you do investing, I do real estate. Like we do, you know what I mean? Like you see a lot of certain things, but you were used to people that had the 9 to 5. Now you have a lot of people that still don't even want to go back to a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
You got more of them going on because you have people that actually started up their own businesses and stuff. I mean, so many online businesses. Just look online. Like you just have a lot.
I think the
of new
4-day
stuff.
week is. They're beginning to realize that the 4-day week is more effective, and they're going to try to do. They're already doing that in schools. Actually, they're getting rid of
I
the
didn't know
5-day because of all the pressure that kids have to deal with, as well as teachers, and so they're doing this 4-day work week. Where teachers go to school for 4 days, and then the students go to school for 4 days.
I actually don't think that's good.
And
Really?
it's actually, they found out that the studies, that it's actually going to benefit the students better. Yeah, and they're
I
going to
feel
be...
like some kids need more help. That's
but
why. That's
yeah,
why I'm saying
well,
that,
that's what
you
I mean,
know?
did you hear the statistics for school?
Yeah, remember?
I mean, remember we
that's
sat
why,
there?
and that's why I'm thinking they should have more days, because I'm thinking of what we just heard.
We just heard
It's
that,
so
I mean,
bad.
the Vegas statistics
That's
for
so
kids
sad.
is just absolutely mind-boggling. I mean,
Yeah.
what is it, 1 out of 5 23-year-olds know math, and the other 4 out of
bad,
5
especially math.
students,
Yeah, they were talking about
4
it
of them
bad.
don't know mathematics.
Oh wow.
Only one does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's a business, remember there's a business here, a business lady who she typically hires high school kids right when they're coming out. And she can start them at 50 to 60 grand a year. Coming out of college, so no other degree, just a diploma. She can't even do that anymore. Because they're graduating, but it's
Yeah, so
so
there's
great,
I just heard this on the
It's
Today
sad.
Show earlier this week that they're experimenting with the 4, and there's already schools
that's
that are
what I
out
mean. If
there.
it works, great.
And they're finding
I didn't
out
know.
that kids are improving in their scores. They're showing up to class. The teachers are less stressed out. I mean, and so they're actually thinking that this is going to be the pattern for the future. Yeah,
I can't speak on the teacher's behalf, but But I know that like burnout culture is real because I was like a living embodiment of that because I was taking 6 classes.
What is
and
burnout culture to you?
Burnout culture is always feeling like there's an urgency to do things that's outside of your needs to meet other people's expectations. Because if you're burnt out, you're not really giving at your fullest extent of who you are. You're running on like the last 10% of your energy, but you're still feeling like you need to do something for others. Not out of like, I would call it altruism, not because you want to, but it's because you feel the need to not let people down, or, you know, because you feel like if you don't do it, they're going to get mad at you. And it's such like I feel
That's
like
common, unfortunately.
it's
more than
common,
not,
right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to be deemed as like lazy or, you know, whatever. And that culture is like when I was teaching, and they're 18-year-olds too, when I was teaching as an undergrad, and I see how little teachers were appreciated. And when I got my first hand in that, it's because I'm like, oh, I can't be a teacher, right? And I was on this this program to where I was teaching communications to 18-year-olds. Second semester, it was Zoom University. So I was struggling as a student on my last semester teaching students it was their first semester going into college. So that dynamic between both of our energies is more about like understanding where their lack is, because I think that was the biggest problem, is because it's their first semester in college and they're already like COVID hit and like everything is, you know, like a shit show, and like no one knows what we're doing, and we're hanging out on Zoom, and the least I can do for them is like just make it light, right? Because I'm like, dude, I know none of you have pants on. Please don't stand up. Like, we'll joke about it, but like I didn't have pants on. I was sitting at home.
Oh gosh, that happened to me once.
That's a different program. No,
Has that ever happened to you guys, by the way?
actually, I
has.
was doing CE classes, and no, I was holding my daughter's little puppy. The puppies get a little, because it kept wanting to be with me. I was like, oh, it's okay. But then the puppy put its paw in my tank top, and then it kept tugging at it, so I had to kind of slide out of view. So yeah, I mean, but I had pants on.
I can't say the same.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, somebody tried to contact me through Facebook to try to get to know me after that little.
Oh, it's like, hey, are you
That's a
interested
true
in
fact. I was like, whoa,
OnlyFans?
what? I can't. Go ahead, Ralph. What? Looks like you have a story.
Yeah. What's the most embarrassing thing you did on Zoom?
I was actually sitting in a meeting with all my coworkers, and what was it that happened? I had my camera on when I shouldn't have had it on.
Enough said.
So-
Oh my God.
But yeah, that was a while ago.
That's funny.
You still see those people?
No, I actually don't. I actually got laid off from that company.
Oh, geez.
I was with them for 20 years. I was a writer for them for 20 years, and then they went through a layoff, and it's been different ever since. I mean, here I am doing this.
Yeah.
And you know, it's
So, see, would you think you'd be doing something like this had it not been for that? Because sometimes things that seem like, oh my God, I can't believe it happened, are actually just a way of stepping away from something and something greater coming along and more doors opening.
well, that's what's happening. Is you know, there's other doors, other opportunities are popping up. You know,
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going back to school. You know,
cool.
I'm getting a graphics degree.
Nice.
So yeah, there's when one door closes, you got to get to finding another door.
I think one of my favorite quote is like, when I first moved here, I'm a California transplant too. And I was trying to get a job or whatever out here. And I've never had a job. I've never had a W-2. And I came out here. I got that desperate. It was during COVID. I'm like, I'm going to get a job. Like, yeah. Like, let's go get me one of these jobs. And I started applying. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm overqualified for half the shit, right? And someone was telling me, like, I was, like, hitting rock bottom, like, emotionally, financially, like, spiritually. I was just broken, right? Because I'm like, I know I'm meant to do something much more than, like, getting a bartending job at, like, a hotel, which is strictly, like, rule-bending, right? Like, they're going to tell you what to do all day. And they're like, so rejection is divine redirection. Like, this is not the alignment of your life. Like, you are not who you're supposed to be in this moment. And there's, like, reasons why you're anxious. There's reasons why you're, like, depressed. and I couldn't figure out like what those callings was for. It's because I was supposed to sit there and like figure out what I've been doing in the last 5 to 10 years that kind of led me to that rock bottom. It's because I was doing things that's like not even for me. Like I went back to college at 26. It wasn't for me. It was actually for my parents, because I dropped out at 18. I didn't tell them. I did the whole like nursing thing, and I dropped out, and then like I was 23. They're like, "Hey, like when's your graduation?" I'm like, "What?" They're like, "For your nursing program, like this is when you're supposed to graduate." And I'm like, "Oh," so I dropped out like second day of the second semester in. Like I knew that wasn't for me, right? I was going through some other issues at that time. So so that's why when you're kind of bringing up like how COVID kind of brought out either like the scarcity in people, or now I feel like the opportunities really opened up is that people live with actual urgency now for their life, not for other people, but it's because they realize they're like, shit, like life is short. Like
you see people going out and traveling and doing things, hiking and things that people have never done before. You're seeing them doing it in droves, you know, and that's what I was referring to is you know,
that's a positive part of it that I've seen.
Yes,
it's just that, and it's just been really cool because it's like people that I even knew. I'm like, wait, you're doing what now? I'm like, oh my God, what made you think of that? But it's because stuff got rough. And they started thinking differently. I mean, I've even noticed I think a lot different, you know. Yeah. But it's crazy what it does to you.
And speaking on that layoffs, I knew a lot of people that got laid off through COVID too, and it kind of taught them when they were talking to me, they were like, hey, like how has the job instability, like as an entrepreneur, like you deal with that? It's financial instability, right? It's because you're never really relying on like one source of income, or that source is actually coming. It's because you have to go out and make it yourself or build something that creates that source of income. And for them, I think that's a lot of when my friends realize like nothing, like safety is an illusion, right? So you're not really secure or safe in that job that they're promising you like all of these false sense of security. And it's not really secured. It's like anyone's replaceable at any time. And you're just a number on a spreadsheet or whatever it is, you know, hitting their performance or whatever. That's a real estate term. But, you know, I don't know how HR department works. But, you know what I'm saying? So I think once the humans like behind of all the workforce realize like, wow, like I can actually do much better and make income for myself. I think that was the beginning of a different movement that we kind of see now, right? It's that like, I'm going to work for myself at least, or I'm going to get with a team to like do something that's better than what I can do and just kind of sit and go to a job and, you know, the W-2
Yeah, because in the beginning, now that I've been doing it, since I haven't had to work for somebody, like technically for somebody for 11 years, I love it. Because you have more freedom. But what people don't realize right when you get in, it's a lot of time. And they're like, wait, what? It's way more than 40 hours a week. Like, I still work way more than that. But I love what I'm doing. Yeah. That's the difference, you know? And I don't have somebody hounding me or in any way. And actually, I was pretty lucky with bosses. But still, you just don't have that where you got to, you know what I mean, be there from this time to this time. And if you didn't feel good, you're stuck anywhere, you know? So it's pretty cool. And you're helping people. That we get to do that, networking. Yeah. You go to networking, just you meet so many people. So there's just so much going on and so many opportunities just when you're doing those things.
Yeah, well, one of the cool things that I like about this show and about the problem solver, Mr. Dave Kohlheimer.
David, don't Kohlheimer. That's it. He's doing like
is that he's got some great ideas, and since I've met Dave, amazing. You know, he's got a great heart. And one of the things that he passed over to me was you know, I went to go check out the immigration place, you know, where they have all the, you know, everybody going to try to get their citizenship, you know, and he meant, so I saw these people in line, and I'm thinking, you know, maybe I can bring them some coffee one day, you know, bring them some donuts and make them feel, you know, like they're welcome here, you know, and hopefully that'll happen, you know. One day we'll go over there and give them all some coffee or something and make them feel, because when you see these folks out there in the cold waiting to get in, it's like, you know, they got nothing to look forward to except to go in and so, you know, why not make them feel good and make them feel like they're loved and, you know, say a little something about the problem solver, you know?
There you go.
So.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to doing something like that because I want to be able to make people feel good, you know. So
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just like we're wired for generosity. We want to give, and we're like social creatures. Like we want to connect to people, but we're just so conditioned.
I think it's
to not
more.
look people in the eye and like to be greedy, to want more for ourselves.
I think I scare people. I look at people in the eye and I think they look away.
People freak out.
They do. They're like, why she keep looking? Because I'm talking to you. but that's just me. What about you, Ralph? Do you look at people in the eye? No. How do you know?
Yeah, I think that's a really nice thing. Like I grew up, like I didn't get my citizenship till I was like 23 too. So I wish when I was in line, someone brought me something because I felt really disconnected. Like just standing in line, I'm like, damn, I'm like illegal as shit. Like I've been here for a long time.
Well, when you
it's
see
just a weird
when you
feeling.
see these people in line and you're looking at them and all they're thinking is what's going to happen when you go inside the office and all that. So they're not thinking anything else. It's
Probably nerve-wracking.
so yeah. One of Dave's ideas was to go and swing by there and bring him some coffee. So hopefully that'll happen sometime soon.
Well, we should. We'll do that sooner than later. No, we should. That'll be good.
I would love to see the
should
look on
totally
their
do
faces
that.
when they get a.
I think they'll be shocked. They'll probably think they have to pay. Like that's not. That's
that's the same thing at the
they'll
border
probably
too.
think they have to pay
At the
or
what?
something.
At the border, like
Oh, 'cause
driving
when you
into
went?
Tijuana, you know how I didn't know that because I haven't crossed the border in a very long time.
Yeah.
And they're just selling stuff or whatever, and we're in the caravan,
you think it's
like all the
free?
vans.
What do you
And
mean
then
selling stuff? You mean like little?
They're selling like coffees and like little breakfast
Oh, okay,
tamales,
gotcha.
and you know
Yeah.
on the side, like they're selling just like knickknacks and stuff, right?
Right.
But the thing is, I love people, like I wave and stuff, and they're like, "Stop making eye contact." Like, they think you want to buy from them. I'm like, "Oh crap!" Like,
Oh yeah, that's
because I'm just sitting out the window. I'm bored. It's like 5:30 in the morning.
true.
We're waiting in that long line, and it's like 6 a.m. And I'm just like, "Hi, like have a nice day," you know. And they're like, "Oh,
That's true.
like,
That's
stop
true.
making
Like,
eye contact."
I forgot about that. That's how it is in Ensenada.
At the same time, you have to be careful because you can't just trust everybody. You know. You guys heard what happened today, right? This morning.
No.
Was it this morning?
Well, no, I have no.
Do you guys listen to the news at all?
No, I do not. I don't. It's too much negativity. I
Well,
like to stay positive,
you
do my
get
thing.
the-
Not naive, but I'd rather not start.
The
my day
owner
like
of
that.
Cash App, Bob Lee.
Oh, I
the
saw
founder
that.
of Cash App
My friend sent that.
was stabbed in San Francisco. Just,
wow.
My
just
friend
walking.
did a thing. Actually, I saw that.
And I mean, and I'm not bringing this up to to bring a downer, but I mean, there's a lot going on. There's what we just talked about, along with the crime rate has gone up insanely. I mean, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what do you do with a situation like that where you're trying to bring in holistic peace and then you're dealing with all of this society crap that's in the way? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Somehow,
It's-
luckily, I balance myself. I don't know. I don't. Do you know what I mean? I pay attention to what's going on, but I feel bad. I think it's more mental health though for people, and that's a big problem out here. But I mean, everywhere. But yeah. I
What
just
are your
kinda
thoughts on
balance
that?
it.
I think violence kind of stems from like lack of inner peace, because most people that kind of starts war like outward or actually at war with themselves is because they're not really doing the work to like work on their issues and like healing themselves and all the traumatic stuff that we all go through at one point or another. Maybe it's like little, maybe it's big, and like not everyone kind of goes through the same kind of stressors as like childhood traumas and stuff. But I think a lot of those people just kind of lack acceptance from society too. That's why they lash out in a certain way, is because there's so much little like compassion and kindness that we share to each other. That's in a blooper. Hey, you could have just told me. Yeah, and I think so I think just the root of that is just understanding like just the humanity behind why people are angry, right? Is because if you look at any particular parts of the world, just like the family that we were helping, like they have very little, but they're just so happy with like the four walls and a roof. And here, just like I was comparing it, it's like the size of my bedroom. And
I
I'm
think there's a
sitting
lot
there.
of judgment. It's because I
Yeah.
feel it's just a lot of judgment on people.
And it's just how, like, not to bring like political issues into it, because different states has their own focus on what they want to work on, right? And I feel like California, it's getting a little funky with like the way that they're causing more disparity in terms of like the housing and like just there's just so much more issues involved that if we don't get involved, that's why it takes more than the government.
Did you get a chance to go when you went to Ensenada, Tijuana? You said, right? You had to go in through San Diego. Did you get a chance to see the homeless situation in San Diego?
So I drove from Long Beach straight into the hotel area, which is right by the sports arena, and then we left from there. But I didn't drive into downtown San Diego because we weren't there for a play.
They were just showing that last week, San Diego, and it's unbelievable.
And
I mean, places where it was. I think it's near the Spanish district, where they have like all the restaurants and stuff, and you'll see like lines of tents lined up on the side of the road. It's like, oh my gosh.
So it's turning into like a Skid Row in LA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happening. It's happening here in Vegas.
It's happening here, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the issues that I think it's important for us as real estate investors to get involved in too.
We could do something for those people.
Yeah, it's not because like they're bad. It's not everyone are drug addicts or whatever. Like the misconception of homelessness is because
it's a real problem.
As a real estate investors, you have to look at it from the problem, like from the top too. It's like some of us do invest in real estate, but what problems are you trying to solve? And I think when I mentioned like affordable housing is because people cannot afford to live here anymore. That's why they're moving out. Like I moved out of California. It's because I felt like my opportunities were stunted. Like my growth was stunted in like that bubble that I was in. So once I finished college, I'm like, and it was COVID. I'm like, I don't want to pursue this anymore because I don't want to stagnate myself because I know I can do better somewhere else.
That's awesome.
And because I just needed like a change.
That's really amazing that you were able to catch that and use that to your advantage.
So for me moving here, it was life changing, not because I did anything right away. It did take me a couple years to kind of figure out like my footing here. Like, what do I want to do? Like, what kind of impact do I want to create here? What kind of problems are here that I can solve, right? Because as entrepreneurs, you're not really after the money. It's because a lot of my friends, like we actually want to solve issues. Like, so with the homeless issues, like we want to keep money, investors' money also in Vegas and develop like the North Las Vegas, getting more opportunity zone, building more mixed commercial to where people can live and work in the same building. Maybe get together with more philanthropy, people with actual bigger money or foreign money to like build more, I would say like sustainable housing for the homeless, just to put them somewhere, sober living, assisted
I think they
living.
actually opened up some of that today. There was some exactly what we're just talking about there for some of the homeless folks in downtown. They actually built the first homeless tenant building that's going to help some of these homeless folks out.
That's awesome. That's something I've always thought about, even since I was younger. Just from things I've seen growing up. That'd be something, or for like abused, you know what I mean? A mixture of just people that have gone through stuff, people that are homeless, and then again, like you guys were saying, or like you said, it's not always drug addicts and stuff, and it's because they just can't afford. But I think too, though, like I said before, is the whole mental health. That's just so bad.
So many
people think
people.
they're on drugs, but it's like it's not that. It's this. But
there's you see a lot of these folks that are dealing with mental issues. Exactly. I mean, they're on the streets, and you see them, and it's like you're like, how does that happen? You look at yourself, you look at your life, you look at your struggles, and then you look at them and you wonder how did they get from where we're at to where they're at? What is it that went? Where did they go wrong? But
yeah, I think everyone has a story too. Just because like I stopped drinking, and like a lot of my episodes, I'm gonna bring on guests that talks about like different aspects of addictions too. Addiction is because you're using it to numb, right? You're using whatever drug of choice or whatever your vice may be, like gambling or whatever, as a coping mechanism, is because of whatever you were doing before. It's like your lack of fulfillment, like they're filling a void for something. That's the root of addiction. So I think there's a lot of bigger issues here that's outside of like money, right? And I don't know if there's a way to like say that we can do more outreach, because there's a lot of people, I think from United Way, that there's a lot of other programs that I've talked to and want to work with is for human trafficking. There's a lot of, like younger girls that like needs guidance, and there's a lot of like young men that commit suicide is because there's a lack of emotional vulnerability in our society for little boys to even share feelings. It's because you're kind of taught and you're kind of brought up into this world to like be manly and be all of these things. That's why they started mainstreaming toxic masculinity, but it's not really. It's because I feel like everyone's wearing a mask, It's just how we're wired to like survive. that's just all we've known.
That's right.
You know, like who we are behind like the human mask that you wear into the world, how you know, make your livings or whatever is different than a person that like struggles, and everyone has their suffering. So I think a lot of these homelessness issues that we face it's like a humanity issue too. It's because we say we want to help them, but if you pass by people on the streets that are homeless, like the first thing you would think, it's like, oh, you have to be careful because they might stab you. It's because of what's put out into the news or whatever. But you're forgetting that like they're also a human in need. They're probably just hungry.
It's real hard.
You know.
I mean, there's times when I look at and I'm sitting there in the corner and you know, I'll get that little voice that says, you know, help them out. And then sometimes I'll look and I'll get that voice that says, something's not right.
Yeah, the last time I just
You
did
know what
that, I was like, you know what, let me go back in to the store I was at real quick because I had to get gas, and then I went to get something, and I saw somebody outside, and I was like, you know what, he didn't ask for anything because he didn't say nothing, but you knew he needed help. So I went to my car, came back out, and he already had went in the store, so I went in, I gave him money, so the only thing that got me was like, oh man, he's buying a beer. But I was already giving him money. But to be honest, I kind of was like, what did I just do? But at the same time, maybe that was his thing for the day that's going to make him happy. I know it sounds crazy, but,
Yeah.
you know. But
You're like, did I enable his addiction
yeah,
further?
so you start, that's kind of what happened. I'm like, oh, but then I went, you know what? At least he, like, you know, he's still dealing with what he's dealing with. But at least maybe that did something for him good for that day. But I was taught a while back to from church that it's good to just buy gift cards. Like mainly McDonald's because they're everywhere. Buy gift cards, have them with you. So instead of giving them money, you give them that, and at least you know you gave them something, and they can go get something to eat.
I just offer them food. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go. Like, there's a Wendy's right there. You want me to grab anything for you?
Yeah, but normally it's because I'm just driving everywhere. You know what I mean? And you just see them along by the freeway or something. So I'm like,
A lot of these
something.
folks don't want your food. They just want money. They don't want food. But I mean,
but I'd rather feed them than the money, especially.
you got to use good judgment.
Yeah.
You got to use your gut instincts, and that's what I do. Is if I see that they, and I feel like they really need help, I'm definitely going to help them. Otherwise, you know.
I definitely see a perspective in that as money is actual freedom, is because money ultimately gives them choice to buy whatever they want. Because I feel like it's such a shame to like feel like you're taking handouts from like a stranger too. Again, it comes down to like a human connection thing. It's as much as we want to give, their ability to receive might not be there. So in terms of like when you look at someone in the eye and you're like, hey, how can I help you? But if they're not in a place of receiving, they're going to be like, oh, you're looking down on me is because you want to feel good because you're better than me. And it always comes down to that, like that ego thing that everyone has it, right? It doesn't matter if you're, you know, a millionaire or if you're homeless. Like I think everyone still faces those same demons of like not being good enough, not feeling worthy, not feeling validated in terms of if they're on the street asking for handouts is because they have no other choice, or if someone just randomly walks up to them and like offer you food. I think it's the same thing. It's just I think money just gives you more power to feel like, okay, like I can take this $5 and like choose what to do with it.
Right.
I can see that, definitely. Another thing I've done is like, you know, instead of donating jackets, I just keep them in my car. When it's cold, if I see somebody, I just go give them a jacket.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
It's a good idea.
At least it's just something just to help them out. But,
Yeah, like I cycle all my clothes. I bring them to like the women's shelter. I don't bring it to Goodwill or
Right.
or Salvation Army.
So it can help because you don't want them having to pay. Because then that's the thing, is like I'm donating clothes to I'm hoping to help somebody. And then it's like, you guys are putting it on a hanger, on a rack, and then you're going to sell it for God knows what. But maybe that person that really needed it, they can't afford it. So it just makes no sense to me.
It's still ran by a
that's
white
the way
man,
to do it.
you know?
I think that's definitely the right way to do it.
Like they're making more money off of other people's misery and offering people like a feel-good way to solve their problem of like humanity, when you can actually just go out and do it yourself and find like more mission-based businesses or nonprofits that aligns with the values of the problems you're trying to solve, and not just give money to like branded places that makes you feel good in the meantime. It's a quick solve, but it's not really a solve to anything. It's because they don't even keep half the stuff. They resell it to like textile companies anyways, across, you know, like the China or whatever.
So what are your plans for the future? Do you like Las Vegas? Is this your place to stay for a while, or do you have other plans? Or
I think so. Besides our education system, which I hear it's pretty bad. If I plan on having children, like it's probably not the best.
Yeah.
But I think homeschooling is also an option too. It's just because institutional learning isn't for everyone too. Because like I was a kid that wasn't really doing good in school, and I was like at all different seasons of my life. Like I've been the golden child that was getting A's, and then I've been like a dropout, and I've been everything in between from like middle school to high school. Like I barely made it out of high school. I started smoking weed really young. Mm-hmm. So there's just like different momentums like for kids that, depending on where we're at. I think I'm going to stay here for the long run because I think that we're barely getting started with our real estate market out here, regardless of what,
I think we're always going to be. I know everybody says all this stuff. I'm like, I think it's what we do.
There's a lot of opportunities
too, right? You know
here.
what I mean? I think it's the individual too, honestly. Because when people say, oh, I think it's going to do this, I go, you don't know, we don't know, nobody knows. Just, you know what I mean? It's the work we put in. And we're always going to find somebody. Because even if people say, oh, it's bad or it's a buyer's or whatever, are you even in the position to do anything?
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. It's just where so you can do something.
Buy what you can afford, live where you like.
Yeah.
And like build where you believe that there's opportunities. And for me, it's here.
Exactly.
So what I did is I actually sold my house right after the pandemic, and then because I was going through a divorce, and so then I sold it, and I decided to buy a trailer, and I love my trailer. I've been living in my trailer for coming up on 2 years, and it's a totally different way of living. Mm-hmm. It's not for everyone, but I love it.
I know a couple people that did that actually. Then one couple, they're super cool. They sold their house, sold furniture, did all this stuff, got a really cool one, and they just travel.
Mm-hmm. I don't travel. I live.
I know.
I live in an RV.
But I'm saying that's what they decided.
No. I live in an RV park, but
And she cuts people's hair because she was a stylist. She'll cut people's hair for free and help people.
That's one of my dreams.
That's what she does. Yeah. They travel and that's what they do. And actually, he's an ex-NFL football player, but that's what they do, and it's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and maybe that'll change in a few years, but right now, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's actually hitting home because
you're doing what you want.
Yeah, I'm like once I hit like my financial independence number, like that's what I'm do. Probably just like rent all of my properties, go on the road with my dog, my partner, and one of my goals is like to buy land in Montana just to build like an animal sanctuary.
Oh, see, that's cool.
And just like live on a farm, ranch style, just to kind of like grow your own food and just live.
Yeah. Exactly, sustainability, and I mean, so that's one of the things that I was mentioning was. After the pandemic, I never went anywhere. I mean, before the pandemic, I never went anywhere. I never traveled really much. I just pretty much stayed here and then went through all the divorce. And now I love exploring. I love going out to abandoned ghost towns and checking out all the cool places here in Vegas, in Nevada, really. And it's exciting. I mean, stuff that I hadn't been doing 3-4 years ago, I'm out hiking and inside mines and stuff. It's just been great.
What has that epiphany moment been for you? Was it like a light bulb moment? Like I know you said the later and like the divorce.
It was
did
a
that
light
change
bulb.
Your life?
It did. I had never. I was with my wife. We were completely. We just never meshed. Mm-hmm. And so we never did anything.
I was the same way.
But once I got myself in my life, I just all of a sudden I wanted to travel. I wanted to go check out all these different places, and that's what I've done. It's been nonstop. I consider myself an explorer, and during that phase of going out and checking out places, I found out that I was a pretty good photographer. So. I'm finding new things.
So you're doing OnlyFans now for people? Oh, no.
What's that? What's that?
Are you doing OnlyFans for people now? Photography?
No. I'm actually trying to get I'm trying to get a business started with my photography.
Nice.
With my pictures and stuff. So that's part of the reason I went back to school for graphics animation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's what I meant to say is that you do something different, and all of a sudden doors start opening up that were never there before,
Yeah, because if you stay stuck and stagnant, like you create your own complacency, and like you keep yourself in that box without ever realizing you have other hobbies or you have other skills or you have other passions.
You don't realize
you don't realize it,
especially when you're with somebody else, and if that's just kind of what it's become. And then when that happens, because that's what happened to me,
stagnant,
divorced, and then
autopilot.
When I got divorced. it was just like, first you have like a couple, like some months of just like, ugh, you know, and then little by little you're like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go to that thing. You know, I am going to go check this out. And you kind of, and now look at everything I've done, what I'm doing, what I plan on doing. I'm like, dang, I've done a lot. And people always ask me, how do you do all these different things? Like, aren't you tired? But you just get into it. You could be tired and you go to like an event you have to go to. And then it's like, boom, you're alive again. So it's just, I think you just go and you just, you know, just keep going.
Do what you love.
But I love it. Like today, doing this, getting to be here with you, listen to everything. This is awesome, right? You know what I mean? So you just end up doing so many different things when you just finally let go of that baggage.
Yep.
It comes down to like how important like having a healthy relationship really means too. It's not just romantically, but like your social circle, your platonic relationships, like it really weighs
100%.
on you and like your soul. Like if your social circle doesn't want better for you, like why are you hanging out with
Stick
them?
to the people that love you.
Yeah,
And
like
that's
for
what I'm
you.
finding out is,
Yes.
you know what? People are going to say things about you. They're going to hate you. They're going to love you. Get rid of the people that don't want you. You know, get them out of your life.
If it's
completely.
toxic, get away. It
And
doesn't matter.
that's what I'm learning
Yeah.
to do now. And you can't please everyone. You're going to make mistakes down the road. You just got to move on and hang out with the people that do support and love you.
That's why we have the problem solver.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
And they can call 702-999-1111.
So if you need to call 911, call 911. But if you need to call the problem solver, call 702-999-1111.
There you go.
So
Yeah, I think that's really important on what you're saying. Like, not everything you do people are gonna like, but if you want to be a change maker, if you want to be a catalyst, like a catalyst for others, like you have to be willing to face that. And like, do you want to be effective or do you want people to like you, right? Because most people that kind of listen to what we have to say, they're always gonna have, they're entitled to their opinion, right? They're always gonna have something cringy to say about it. But I think at the end of the day, like when you bring up toxic, it's like we're all toxic. Like we all have something that we should constantly be working on. And whether that is like through addictions or through whatever, you know, like social media is another toxic component that teaches us like how we should behave or whatever, is because it's not the norm. But I feel like at the end of the day, like what you said is like, love you for you. Like it starts with like self-love. It starts with self-compassion. It starts with kindness to yourself, forgiving yourself for like not knowing better, and then bringing that energy back out into the world, like using that darkness to like shine light into others.
wow, I love that.
You know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, definitely. I know. I've learned so much from you. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah, just
And I'm
talking
really,
here with you,
and I'm ready to, like, I'm not joking. I know I joke a lot, but I'm ready to.
I know, we're all serious today. What happened?
This is about the only time I'll be serious because the rest forget about it. But no, the building of the houses. I think I already know that I can get a group of people that would love to do that. I already know that just by who I hang around with, you know. So I think probably with Rob, you probably have some people that you know.
No, I don't. I'm thinking of just
We'll
me.
go make some friends.
I want to go and I want to do this.
We just talked about circle of friends. We got you. We're gonna help you out.
Come hang out with our
We
friends.
got you. We're gonna help you out.
Yeah.
We can do this. We'll do this. Yes, that's what it's about: helping one another, solving problems. So we got you. So cool. So all right. So good. What
Why
did you
are we
want to say,
so
Rob?
serious today?
No, I'm just. I'm not trying to be serious.
So, is there anything else you wanted to add? I mean,
Well, let's see.
come on. Wait, you said actor. So what are we doing?
Yeah, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Oh well, let's see.
What do you got going on?
Right now, I've got. I'm waiting for a couple of movies to come out, and a couple of commercials that I was in that are going to be on TV here soon. One of them was an Archwell Healthcare commercial, and the other one was a Nevada Energy commercial.
What's your character? What are you doing?
The Archwell Healthcare, you're going to love it. I've got a whole conversation going on with another guy, and it's really good. And then the NV Energy was a lot of fun too. There's Hispanic. It's based on Hispanic, and so it was a lot of fun.
Cool. That's cool.
And yeah, so we're just plugging away, auditioning and trying to get in wherever I can, whatever I can do. I got a talent manager, and so
Well, if you need females,
Do you think we'll
do a
make it
little
as
part.
actresses?
oh yeah, they'll just take cut. We'll see what number
I think the minute we walk in, they're gonna be like, turn around.
They can bring us coffee. They can say they can be the coffee
you-
girls, right?
Back to the
That's it.
crafty.
Yeah, I don't think we can get a day job, Maria.
I think we've been out in the wilderness for too long that they can't handle it. There'd be no way they can handle it.
I think
I
you
can see
definitely
that
have
now.
the look of it. Have you ever dabbled in it? In acting?
Act a fool. No, I think when I was joking with one of my friends, he's like a stand-up comedian. I'm like, hey, if I fail as a real estate investor, can I just come and like make fun of myself and try to make a living out of it? That's what I'm good at, right? I'm like, dang, who's gonna like hire me or whatever? They're like, oh, can you tell jokes? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I can tell my entire life. Like, that's a fucking joke, you know?
Oh no. It's funny because I have a lot of comedian friends.
Okay.
Oh Lord,
We laugh because it's funny, because it's like self-deprecation and like using pain as a coping mechanism. It's like, it's really real.
Oh, I love
But
I
it's
gotta have
just
that
how
laughter.
people like connect. Is like you laugh, but you know you're sharing the same pain.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
beauty of it, right? Like people can make fun of you. I'm like, you're laughing at me, but you know it's true because you
Yeah.
did it too.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
So I guess are we gonna wrap up here, or
This is really fun hijacking today.
do you guys have anything else that you want to throw in before we?
Oh, I'm not sure who watches this, like children or no,
Children.
trying to keep it keep it getting on.
Don't be dropping your OnlyFans and your dog's only paws and like, you know.
Right? Well, no, okay, so I guess what we should say is, so if anybody, you mentioned before in the beginning, right, definitely get educated first. But where would somebody even get educated? What could we just say to somebody if they would like to do what you do in terms of anything in investing?
So
Like, what's
all
just
of
the first couple
my,
steps?
Opportunities actually comes like through networking. I'm not a sit at home. Like I've watched enough. Like I'll read for fun. Most people, they're like, I'm gonna get buried in books. I'm gonna do all these things. But I think my advice is like read less and do more. By doing more is like go out and be more. Like be of service to others. Like be memorable. Bring value. And that doesn't mean like you have to be like fake about it, right? Like just be authentically yourself, and you connect and you'll resonate with who resonate with you. It's because the opportunities, when you're truly your authentic self, will gravitate towards you. And so some of the deals, some of the partners that I've come across in the last 6 months is because I am who I am. Like I'm not going to put on a suit and go to like a conference and pretend to be pompous and all of this pretensions that I'm not. Like I'm a jeans and t-shirt girl. Like that's who I am. That's who I'm going to be.
Yeah.
I say inappropriate things. Like I'm unfiltered. But at the end of the day, it's like you take your business seriously, but you should take your life a little easy, right?
I love your shirt.
I know.
I love your T-shirt.
Right?
Peace,
Thank
love,
you.
cash
Cash
flow.
I know.
Yeah, my friend
yeah.
was like telling me yesterday, like, you wear affirmations on your shirt. I'm like, I really do. It's just like
really
what
cool.
you believe in, and share that to the world.
Yeah.
If you can make like someone smile, do it. If you can do something kind for others, do it. Like who you are at the end of the day, it's like who you are behind closed doors. Like do what you do regardless of who's looking or who's not looking at you. You know,
Exactly. Integrity is everything.
integrity is
Definitely.
everything. So that's important in real estate. It's because it's so vast out there, but it is a really small circle, especially if you're going to go into multifamily or real estate. It's like everyone's going to know you.
Yes.
Your reputation's important, but like if you're this person to one person and another to the next, and that's not really who you should be, right? You should be authentic all the way around. I think networking is the most important thing. Most people say like, oh, it's who you know, right? But it's really not. It's who knows you, because not everyone that know of you, like you should be doing business with, or you know.
Exactly, yes. And then you go to them, you meet new people. Some you meet, you're like, you don't really vibe, whatever, so you know, but it's no big deal. But
Yeah.
you end up meeting a lot of people, and you see how you can help one another.
Yeah,
Which is
And,
awesome.
like,
And that's, I mean, I met you through networking and through one of our
Exactly.
friends, Jasmine.
And
Like,
our
that's how
energy, right?
And that's the thing, which was awesome. So
like
I
energy
mean,
don't lie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, really,
Like
it
the
doesn't.
vibe don't lie.
I feel like that, that's the kind of stuff people can't fake, and people are going to see through it.
Yeah.
So cool. Very,
Yeah.
very cool. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you being here, Tani.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Thank
a
you for all the
pleasure
information.
talking with you, and
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think
Just
we have
wanna-
pretty good Pretty good session here.
Right? I think so. So again, I would say problem solver. If anybody needs it, who do they call? What's the number?
Call 702-999-1111. The problem solver. That's Dave Kolkheimer.
Cole
What?
Meyer.
Cole Meyer.
Well, that's it.
Cole Meyer. That's
That's
right.
it. You guys
Cole
are
Meyer.
fired.
He's
Fired. Fired. Right
He's the
there.
one who's
You're the one
Fired.
who messed me up.
Okay, let's be a team. He messed up, but I got his back.
Why is
There you go, right? That's how we do it. Oh my gosh, I love it. But yes.